Thank you. To the flag of the United States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Grateful for the opportunity we have to be together as neighbors and friends. Hope we make good decisions regarding our citizens and our community. Grateful for this community and for the blessings that we enjoy. Grateful for good friends and neighbors. Pray that we might have a good year in the coming year. Citizens will be safe. Thankful again for friends, family, in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen. Vote. I so move. Good. Favor? Aye. Any opposed? What we have here is a series of different city ordinances that we're making some adjustments to. We had a public hearing last month on them. Couldn't vote because we didn't have an agenda out. So tonight we'll have a brief discussion, answer any questions that you have, and then take a vote on each one of them to recommend or not recommend city council. Says building official may in writing delegate the duties of the building official, building inspectors, plan examiners, and other assistants. We're adding upon approval of the mayor. Mayor will control that from a policy standpoint. Designated the building official, Corbett was still here.
Motion to amend City Code Section 9-1-1B to include upon approval of the mayor.
Okay, there's a second to that.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The next one is 10-2-1. And we're changing the definition from building inspector to building official. Or encompassing, the building official does have inspector functions, but it's more all encompassing just the building inspector. So, changes being, a couple of changes being made there. Halfway through the definition, it says the building inspector and zoning enforcement officer, changing that to the building official. Building enforcement officer may be the same person. And adding the building official may in writing delegate the duties of the building official. Building inspector. And again. Most of the changes. Deputy sheriff is kind of his focus is on nuisance.
Second.
Everybody turn your sound on.
I had mine on.
I have mine on.
Do you? I had, mine was off. I don't know if that makes a difference, Jody. I don't know. Okay. All right. The next change is to 10-4-5D. And this is one that we approved a couple of months ago where we changed the required drawings for a building permit to match the state code. So we're making a further change to that under Part A. To the site plan for the construction project submitted shall contain the following information unless specifically waived by the previous, it was Planning Commission. And the change we're making to that now, waived by the building official and zoning enforcement officer in whole or in part. So we're substituting building official, zoning enforcement officer for the Planning Commission.
I say that there's an and in there, so they both have to approve it.
That's right.
Okay.
And that came up, I remember, during our codification process where a comment was made that they felt that more than one person should be required to make a change. So that's why that was added. So it's a and. So I'll take a motion on that to substitute Planning Commission for building official and zoning enforcement officer.
I'll move that we amend City Code 10-4-5A, parens A, to include approval instead of the Planning Commission by the building official and the zoning enforcement officer.
Yep.
Second that.
Okay, Lori second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Going over to 10-8-2B, parenthesis 3. We're going over these ordinances one by one, John. What this did is eliminating that particular 3, which had to do with short-term rentals. The state code changed and does not allow a city to categorize or to restrict short-term rental. So anybody can have somebody in their basement for 2 weeks or whatever. So,
Like, yeah, those are all. right,
yeah, right. So we're removing that from our code. And it's part 3 of that particular ordinance. So I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion to omit or city code 10-8-2B3.
Okay,
I'll second.
Larry second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. The next one has to do with all the work that Larry did in with our public facilities district and the changes made to our ordinances to make it more germane to what we needed to have it done. And this is part of code 10-9-2. The changes to this in part A, it reads accessory buildings and uses as defined in chapter 2 of this title and section 10.11.2 of this title, including public parking areas, storage garage, and maintenance and heating facility, and we're adding, except that in public facilities district, the accessory building can be a standalone structure on the property. In other places of our ordinance, it can't be a we don't allow people to put an accessory building on their lot if they don't have a house on it. So it's an accessory to the house. While we're calling it accessory building in the public facilities district, it can be put on in that district without another structure.
Got me confused.
Okay?
What's the
Are
first
we
time?
dealing with 10?
10-9-2. Permitted buildings and uses.
Okay, and why did you say 10-11-2? When you were describing it?
He
You
skipped
just-
one.
It's defined there also,
Okay,
in addition to, and that is,
so 10-9-2 and 10-11-2A are dealing with the same thing?
yes. It's a
So number 10
definition.
and number 12 are dealing with essentially the same thing.
Say that again, Severin.
Is number 10 and number 12 dealing with essentially the same thing?
Where did you get 12 from?
Agenda item.
On the
Oh,
agenda.
number 10, number 12.
Oh,
Oh.
there's, one deals with buildings under 200 square feet, and then you see number 13, and that deals with buildings over 200 square feet. So they're dealing with their reference. It comes back to this single being able to put an accessory building on a lot without a home.
Okay, then 10, 11, 12, and 13 are all dealing with essentially the same thing
Similarly,
and being
yeah.
corrected Okay. All right.
Also, Part D of that ordinance under 10.9.2, we are adding, it talks about it, it's governmental. And it says municipal uses for administrative function and uses by the general public. We're adding to that
Such as,
sentence, city offices, fire stations, emergency services, and mail facilities. So that's being added there. And in part F, under recreational category, it says parks, recreation fields and playgrounds, pools and public gardens and golf courses, and we're adding public restrooms into that recreational category. So those are the changes to the A, D, and F in 10.9.2. So take a motion to adopt those changes or recommend.
I recommend that we amend City Code 10-9-2, permitted buildings and uses.
As indicated.
As indicated.
Okay. Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Moving on to 10-9-3. Still part of the physical facilities changes. This is the way number 3 currently reads. Driveways and parking areas serving the public facility may be located within the side or rear yard set forth in the above schedule. But driveways shall be located not less than 10 feet and parking areas not less than the side yard setback of the adjacent district. And play areas shall not be located closer, than 50 feet from any adjacent boundary line of a residential district. We're adding similar to adjacent district setbacks, especially including traffic sight lines. So we're adding that similarity to this particular part of the statute. Give it a little bit more clarity. So I would take a motion for that change to be made into 10-9-3.
Make a motion. Change 10-9-3 as it is written.
Okay, is there a
I'll
second? Okay, Larry, second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Moving on to the next, the 10-11-2A. This is the accessory building, 200 square feet and under. We're adding the setbacks for the front yard, side yard abutting road, rear yard abutting road, from the main residence, from other structures, all asterisks. Meaning, the asterisk reads, setbacks and configurations should conform to adjacent district setbacks and configuration. The setback or configuration different from the adjacent property or properties to be determined by the Planning Commission and or City Council on a case-by-case basis. So we've added the flexibility there to make kind of individual changes if there's a need to do that in the public facilities district, and only in the public facilities district. Let me go on under that same statute, 10-11-2A, modifying part C, just, I guess, some clarity. It read, the site plan should show the lot in relation to other adjacent lots which surround the lot in question, to include any roads that abuts the lot. We're changing the wording a little bit. We're putting the site plan with the, should show the lot in relation to other adjacent lots that surround rather than which surround the lot in question. We're taking out to include and substituting including any road that abuts the lot. That's B of section C. And C, we're adding the word the to it read just show dimensions of the lot. We're adding show the dimensions of the lot. Just a little, some grammar corrections or sounding better. And in part D, under additional requirements, in section C of that, says the site plan with any electrical service to the accessory building must conform to applicable electric code, and we're putting to the particular or the applicable electric code. Again, just changing an adjective there to better say. So that's in that part. Buildings under 200 square feet, or 200 square feet and under, in as it shows in our code, for those changes for in the public facilities. So I take a motion then to make those changes as I indicated.
We do a motion on both 10, 11, 2A and 2B at the same time?
2B it doesn't have those other changes.
No,
we
but
could,
it
though.
does have
They're
the
kind of the
asterisk.
same.
It has,
And
it does,
have
okay,
the
let's, all right.
asterisk.
The 10, 11, 2B under public facilities has the same asterisk for structures over 200 feet. And the note on the asterisk says setbacks and configurations should conform to adjacent district setbacks and configurations. A setback or configuration different from the adjacent property or properties to be determined by the Planning Commission and or City Council on a case-by-case basis.
So both of those
They'll have the same
have the
language.
same wording, language and changes.
Yes.
I move that we approve the amending of City Code 1011-2A and 10-11-2B, accessory buildings 200 square feet under, and accessory buildings over 200 square feet.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Good. Thank you. The last city code is 10-11-10, and it's titled Keeping of Animals. Keeping of Animals to City Code. I'm sorry. It's moving City Code 10-11-10, titled Keeping of Animals, to City Code 5-6A-5, which is Title 5 deals with animals, animal control in the city. It in 10-11-10, I don't know why it's there, but it was by itself. There weren't any other references to animals. And if somebody's looking through it, through our ordinances, that's kind of off by itself. So we wanted to bring it in under the code that addresses animals. And it says, and there won't be any change to the wording, it's just changing the location of it to a different code. So the commercial raising of livestock, other farm animals, or household pets shall not be permitted. Domestic animals may be maintained upon the premise, but not to exceed 50 fowl, 20 rabbits, or 2 large and 4 small animals per acre. 1/2 that amount is allowed on less than 1 acre. Any exceptions to this must be approved by the appeal authority. So it's just moving that wording from one title to another. So I'll take a motion to do that.
Comment.
Yes.
And I raised this issue before. We really haven't defined very well what a large animal is and what a small animal is.
Would you care to take a stab at it?
No. I mean, there are some pretty large dogs, but I'm not sure we want to put dogs in that same category as being a large animal. That was my concern before, and I guess I still have it. I mean, to my knowledge, we really haven't had any challenge to it,
Right.
but who knows? We may get somebody that decides they're going to challenge how many dogs somebody has and say, well, they're large dogs, so they put it in they've got 4 dogs and they're all large dogs, and it says here, only 2 large animals.
I think, in my mind, large animals would be horses, cows, mules. Small
Yeah.
animals would be maybe goats and sheep.
Well, maybe that's what we ought to do, though, is add
Say-
some such as
Huh?
for large animals, cows, horses, mules, and then for small animals, goats. I don't know, where do we put pigs?
Where do you put
Well,
the,
The ordinance says you can't have pigs in the city at all.
All
so
right.
They don't fit there.
where do you put like a miniature horse though? There's many animals.
Chitlins.
Well,
Ponies.
They're still pretty
Yeah.
big. They're bigger, they're like a big dog.
And why don't rabbits count as an animal? It says 20 rabbits or 4 small animals. Aren't rabbits small? Because it doesn't say
Well, they're separate, yeah, they're separate.
doesn't
they're
say-
small.
farm
Animals.
animals. It just says 2 large and 4 small.
We had a lady who did ask the question about pygmy goats. And I said, we consider all goats large animals. We don't
Oh.
consider pygmy goats. Because that just would create further problems for us to allow
To deal with
a bunch of
4
pygmy
instead of
goats
2.
running around. So.
Maybe if you can't pick it up, it's a large animal.
But I think maybe that such as is a kind of a guideline to use.
Maybe we could do like an asterisk thing on the bottom of that, kind of like our setbacks.
Do that.
Put it in parentheses.
What are some examples of small animals, like a dog?
Well,
Any
No,
other
like a sheep. I'd say a sheep.
sheep?
I've seen dogs and sheep.
But they're covered under a separate category,
Yeah.
dogs and cats.
Goats, they considered small? I don't.
Didn't you just say?
I know, I did. I
Goats
did.
are
They're
large.
I did.
Well, he didn't have an ordinance back then.
I think we should err in the side of less is
And there's something to that too. I mean, the whole ordinance is restrictive in nature with what is allowed.
Does the term equine cover horses, mules, donkeys?
Yeah, but some people would probably say, well, what is equine?
No, that's-
Good.
Look it up, finish
The
now.
definition of
Those
horse
animals
of
you
a horse
ride.
family,
And
That's from
mules are
Webster.
horse family, right?
I would say so.
So donkeys would probably fit into the almost same category as
Yes, they
mules.
would.
Any of that.
Or you could say large horse family, bovine family. I
Is
don't
that
know.
a bull?
For the cows. and-
Cows,
Oh. What's a bull?
bovine.
Yeah. Well, for
For
examples,
example, large horses,
No, just say
Let's
horses.
say large horses.
Just
just
horses.
horses.
Horse family. Period.
cow family.
Rabbit thing.
Are we
Rabbits are
already
covered
covered.
there.
Oh, it's already covered.
are we
Yeah.
limiting ourselves though if we start putting
Well, are there any other domestic, I mean,
about the
what
llama?
if somebody, yeah, if
type.
somebody wants a llama or a camel?
I
Yeah, a
just put
camel,
any-
an elephant.
Large would be something over X amount of pounds, and small would
Yeah.
You can't tackle it to the ground.
be.
Pick it up.
It's
tack
big.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, but you've got cows.
You can't
that
ride it,
tackle
it's small.
Cows.
They're
I
little
think they're
cows.
called
There's
bovine.
calves. Somebody can throw a
Calves.
calf and say, hey,
Yeah, that's
and
small.
so, but I don't think we want to, I would think that, I mean, we'd want to put it in the same category as the mother.
Sure.
It's
Because
just
we don't
They
want
do
to say
grow
this
up.
year it's one thing and next
You
year
know,
it's grown
you
and
can't
it's,
keep a calf
it's another.
as a calf all the time.
Yeah.
It's going to graduate to be something else.
Let's just say they can have one cat and one dog and that's it.
Forget
Oh,
those roosters.
Wait till you
One
hear,
cat, one dog, that's it.
let me share.
Okay, and no roosters.
There's this, Ben has been after me,
In Hilliard.
Ben Hilliard, to make a rooster exception to put crow collars on
It
them.
didn't work.
My neighbors behind me did the crow collars. I can still hear it. In my house.
This was subject of the council meeting last night, and all of the council agreed.
So we need to come when they,
Well, they
Not
need to
anymore.
listen to one.
I'm just gonna
I
do
am-
And I told them, I made a
Roosters?
point, I said, the collars subdue it some, but they don't eliminate
It
it.
just
Here's what
changes the
happened.
sound.
So-
My neighbor was addressed when Craig was doing code enforcement. Put the collar on for a couple of weeks. Because it wasn't. I could stick it.
Well,
I
The only
actually have the
person who-
sheriff in my backyard listening to one with a collar on it.
And that presents a whole different set of enforcement criteria
Yeah,
also.
it's-
their argument.
Why do they,
is
why do they want a rooster? If you can't hear it, I mean, what was the benefit of it?
To
it
create
makes-
chickens,
It makes
Well-
the chickens
What?
happy.
to make the chickens, to make the
they
chicks.
talked about the bloodline of the chickens. But, I mean, which kind of seems commercial to me, but
Well, a lot of
Can't
people
spy
have,
out one cat, problem solved.
so that was the idea though.
inside at night.
And they said, supposedly, those in the know, one Aaron Gilbert, that they have a couple of roosters in a bunch of chickens is a healthy thing to
I don't
have.
doubt it, and it's annoying as all get out. to litigate.
Yeah, it is really all day long.
This
They,
isn't about raising chickens and eggs, this is about quality of life for residents.
yeah.
They want to live on a farm, go live on a
And
farm.
that's a good point.
Don't live on a farm. This is not a farm. People don't want to have chickens so that they can get eggs and meet a rooster.
Yeah.
I need to learn how to do math because it's not, doesn't pencil out. It's cheaper to buy.
Cheaper to go down and buy.
Really?
And the concept of self-sufficiency, which if Darren's involved, is probably
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
Roosters are a nuisance.
They're
We do
miserable
not live
nuisance.
on. This is a residential.
Would you take a little assignment, John, and do a kind of a position paper on roosters with your experience? I mean, I like everything you said. I think it's germane,
Absolutely.
and I don't disagree with any of that. And I've kind of fought it all along. I was really surprised that the council
Did
said
the world vote for it?
Well, they didn't vote, did
They
they?
didn't vote.
Discussed it.
they
discussed-
all
talked about it.
thought it
Of
was
course,
a
Doral has to.
So if they are talking about changing that to allow roosters, do they have to, like, don't we have to have a public hearing?
We
about
do.
it?
Yes.
and we would.
Okay, okay,
But I'm
good.
fearful that the only people who come to that would be those in support of
Pros, not-
having
Yeah.
roosters.
Yeah,
So
Maybe as part of the requirement for coming to the public hearing is they'd have to wear one.
I know, can we put those on some people?
Or shot collar. We could do that. I'd love to watch that.
Okay, well,
That'd be neat.
Okay,
we'll
Anyway,
see.
back to animals.
Yeah. Sheep family, small
Or
animals
do we
such as,
just want to leave it large and small and deal with it? Have we had that much of a problem in your
No.
experience?
no, we just had this one question came up, and she didn't have any goats. She wondered what category pygmy goats fell into.
she
And
was
I just
looking
said,
at a home that was for
Yeah.
sale, so.
looking to buy a home and see
The
what,
challenge that I see though is I am cognizant of at least 2 and maybe 4 areas in the city that already have more than 2 horses.
and are they 1 acre,
Well, they're 1 acre.
1 acre lot? So
Yeah.
they're,
And
yeah.
That's where it limits it.
We'll have to have our ordinance enforcement officer talk to them.
I mean, it's not a grandfather situation.
No.
Because that's been there for a long,
yeah.
I'm just saying
Well,
that it
like
hasn't been
change.
enforced.
Because we haven't,
And
We
a
act
lot
on
of-
complaint.
Right, well.
That's what I
you
tell
haven't
everybody.
enforced Yeah, you don't have a complaint because, like I said, one property is a 1 acre property. And it's set back, so you don't even know that there are horses there unless you know the people. The other one, I think they have a 2.5 acre, only 2 blocks from here, but nobody would know that they have horses there.
Years ago, there was a complaint made of a person who had a couple of horses and it was a smell, the next door neighbor.
Uh-huh.
And so the city got after them and they complied. I think they got rid of one of the horses. But I know we have several properties that have more than 1 horse
Yeah.
on them.
you need to be careful. Because I made a complaint to the commission leader about horses on the next to my house. And I got put on the planning commission.
Well, we don't need to be careful, because you guys already.
Teach him.
As I recall, yours had as much to do with a fence as it did with,
That's for the fence.
with a horse. But anyway,
Oh,
Look,
I guess I'd suggest we not address it now and let's see if it
Yeah, let's-
becomes a problem. And then,
Let's just leave it.
you good with that, Severin?
Yeah,
Okay.
I make a motion that we approve moving City Code 10-11-10, keeping animals to Code 5-68-5, under general regulations relating to animals.
Okay, your second?
I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Item 15, we won't take up tonight. They're not here to make presentation. I've sent you the information on it. This is Bellevue subdivision, their new preliminary plat. there was a.
They're sure dragging their feet on that, aren't they?
Well, it's taken quite a while for them to put their preliminary plat together. They sent it to the city. Our city reviewed it and had a lot of comments and sent it back to them for some revision. And those revisions have been made, and now it's come back to the city. There's 4 items that I addressed in an email, and I sent you all a copy of that, concerns. And I think rather than hold a preliminary up further, I think those items can be addressed in a final plat. We can tell them that there's a conditional approval and these
Based
items
on
have to
those
be
4
further
items.
addressed. So
Refresh my memory, was that 5, 6, or 7 lots that finally approved for that?
there's a total of 8. 2 of them have been done already, so there's six more. It's a phased. So they've done phase A, which was just 2 lots, and now there's 6 lots remaining. But it's an extreme hilly topography,
Yes.
and they've had some issues with septic, and that's one of the 4 areas that need to be further addressed. Because the septic field is too close to the 30% slope.
But they must have addressed the challenge of being able to get fire equipment in there. Because that was a concern clear back when I was on the city council.
And there's one issue yet with the driveway that's not resolved as far as slope of the
Right, I read
driveway.
that.
So but the others are, the 2 lots that were done, their entrance is right off of Valley View. So there really isn't, they go right into the residence there. So those aren't real issue. They're not an issue, but this other part of the property will be. And we kind of thought that they were going to have to combine 2 lots into one to give it a long driveway run, but they haven't done that. So that's another area that needs to be further worked on. So we'll probably address that in January meeting there.
But you were also concerned about the road fill.
Yeah, and they know, they finally acknowledged the problem with that. They're going to have to probably take out at least 10 feet of fill that they put in over there without any testing or anything else.
They just dumped and dumped and dumped.
Yeah, they have. So they've acknowledged that and are willing to do that, haul all that off, bring in and monitor what they're bringing in and have it tested as they're doing that. That's the issue with there's a narrative on my email,
Right.
and that pertains to those roads, primary road going in there. So the last thing on here is a conditional use permit from Summit Creek. And this is just a renewal of their sales office. They're off of, it's
And
by
we
the,
discussed that last month.
By the
Didn't
Yeah.
we?
by the mailboxes, yeah. So we couldn't vote on it because
Does it require a
wasn't-
vote or?
it does.
Okay.
And it goes from us to the city council.
And so, but they have to do that every year, correct?
It does, renews every year.
Does every conditional use permit need to renew every year
Yes,
and have the city council vote on it?
yes.
I
No,
move,
their plan is to turn the Vision House into that,
Into a sales office?
you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know that, this initial use permit is even go for another year.
It may not, and it's expired already. They're past it a couple of months, so, but they go from year to year, so.
Well, it's something that can be voted on tonight, right?
Yes, we vote on a recommendation and then it goes to city council. So, but that's what it is. It's basically a repeat of a prior conditional use permit with that.
there's not a date on this. Shouldn't we have room for a date every year?
Yeah, we probably should. I'll make a note of that and we'll put a date on it. It'll be for 1 year from now. It will be good.
Now,
For-
is this permit for them to use the office at the specific location, or if they
Yes.
move it to another building that's?
Just
okay,
there.
Just that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
If the mission, if the mission has, I mean,
It'll
they've
still,
already got it, I
What-
could
what's
see
the
permit
vision?
for that.
what's the what?
What's the vision?
It's a house that they built there that they were gonna change and they decided not to. It's like a nuance, go and think.
It's the one coming down the hill to the swimming pool, is there on the house lot
Oh,
itself?
yeah, it's one.
That's the house.
Oh, Vision
Okay,
House.
gotcha.
It's not occupied and
And they were gonna
They-
turn
they
it
are
in
being
initially
used.
into another, clubhouse.
kind of, yeah.
And then the last I heard, which was just a couple of weeks ago, that they're gonna move all their sales offices in there.
And get rid of this trailer.
Yeah.
Vision.
I haven't heard that, but that's what they would do. I don't know if they would have a need to have both. So, they may come back. I mean, there'd be no reason not to approve of moving it to the Vision House. We were a little concerned about the sales office there where it is, and there's a road that goes behind
You
that.
know, we used to be able to get our heavy done, and I don't think we could.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
We were there probably about a month ago. We were
Yeah.
over there.
That's always been concerned.
Yeah, you can't get back, they put a ditch across it too.
Yeah, with the ditch, we can't get, even the heavy,
But if there's a sewer line that runs back there, so you may not get back there with fire apparatus, but it needs to be accessible for
other stuff.
other things, for maintenance and stuff. So,
That ditch they put in, I don't think you can
Yeah,
get
they're gonna
it.
have to put a culvert.
is it?
Right at the back of the
Yeah, you can't
pavement
get
where it
through
goes to
any-
dirt. and
Yeah.
They've got a
The big
rock line
ditch.
ditch, you can't get anything.
Oh, okay.
Go look at it, right?
Yeah,
It's going behind the building there.
Okay.
Yeah, that should be piped. covered.
Oh, sneaky guy.
I mean, it looks good. It actually looks really good.
Yeah, they've
It's
done
just
a
not
nice
very
job.
accessible.
that was a container that they had made.
Oh, I know, I
for
saw
that.
it when they've done a really good job.
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
But the access road is not accessible.
good to know.
We could get a small brush truck through there if the ditch. was-
If the ditch was,
if
They
the
had a
bigger
culvert in
one was-
there. Okay. So I'll take a motion on the approving of that conditional use permit.
I'll make a motion to approve their conditional use.
I'll
Okay.
second.
I'll second. Oh.
Will second.
Will.
Okay, all in
So
favor?
quick to-
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay.
You want me to do up something on Roosters and just send it to you then?
Yeah, that'd be fine. Send it to me in email.
It should be a foul experience.
Yeah, it'll be a foul experience when they come
It's a
down.
foul.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Just, can you go back and shut that off?
Maybe we ought to. formally
Let's adjourn.
Close.
Yeah,
Move that we adjourn.
I second.
okay. All in favor? Okay.